Go ahead and bring your attention to the fact that the webinar is being recorded, and if you want to continue, then please consent, and if not, then well,
I'll continue.
You can back out, and we'll get in touch with you in other ways. But welcome to the June meeting of the Central Beaverton Neighborhood Association Committee. My name is Tom Drane. I'm the current chair. The purpose of the Central Beaverton Neighborhood Association Committee is to act as an advisory role to the council and administration of the city of Beaverton on matters of importance to the CBNAC or the city, and to provide a forum for the involvement and participation for the greatest number of citizens. There are no dues or fees for NAC membership, and anyone who lives, works, owns property, or represents a nonprofit within the NAC border is a member. The CBNAC's activities are civic and educational, and some of its goals are to bring about a maximum of exposure of ideas and plans that are formulated for Central Beaverton, such as development proposals or other land use issues, and to provide opportunities for input to the city through such avenues as the mayor, city council, city commissions, and the staff of the city of Beaverton. City of Beaverton does have a matching grant program that we utilize to fund some of our community activities. We'll be hearing a grant application later. Great example. If you have an agenda item that you would like to have added to our next meeting, if you have any questions about the NAC, or if you have an idea for a community event or a project idea, please see me or get in touch with me after the adjournment of the meeting. I'm going to go ahead and add my email address to the chat, and I encourage you to send me a quick email during the meeting with your name and contact information if we don't already have it, so I can follow up with you, and then we'll add your email to a list to be used to send periodic updates on the NAC and upcoming events in our neighborhood. So with that in mind, I will go ahead and start, make sure that I'm actually getting this to everybody that's in attendance. But why don't we go ahead and do introductions. I'll just kind of call off our board members and attendees and panelists so we all get covered. And for tonight's question, I was thinking we're in now such a sea change event. I know I've gotten vaccinated. I know many other people here are, and with vaccination comes a little bit more opportunity. So what is the thing that you were either most looking forward to do once you were vaccinated, or you are most still looking forward to do now that there's a little bit more community to be had? So we will start off with Amanda Clark.
Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Clark. I'm the Community Engagement Manager for Beaverton Civic Theater and also a Central Beaverton resident. Oh my gosh, do I have to narrow it down to one? I'm like a true blue extrovert. So like anything and everything sounds just fantastic. Certainly like theater is the easy answer, like just for everyone to start being able to realistically think about what it means to gather folks and do arts again. But on a personal level, my sister lives in Lincoln City and she's a teacher, and I'm looking forward to actually getting to celebrate her birthday with her this summer. So it'll be great.
Fantastic. Yeah, and for any board member or officer, please let us know if you're a board member or officer and what you do. Kevin Teeter.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin. I am the Executive Director at the Beaverton Downtown Association, and I am really looking forward to going out to some live shows of any size or any kind. That's just such like a refreshing thing to do. My partner and I were able to go out to dinner in Portland this weekend, and it was nice to be out again.
Thanks, Kevin. John Duggar.
Kevin, it was anniversary too, right? Did I see that on Facebook correctly?
Yeah, you did.
Happy anniversary, my friend.
First anniversary and first time being in a public space together.
those are both of those. John Duggar, I'm vice chair. I think honestly trying to get through Pride. So June 26th, Sunday, we're putting on Pride here in downtown Beaverton. So I'm a founder there. So we're trying to get through that. And then July 9th, my brother and mother-in-law, so Quinn's twin brothers, get married. And I'm officiating, so I'm really looking forward to that. We were just in Bend this past week, and it was for the bachelor's party. And, you know, we were all vaccinated. It was really strange being around people, and a good, right? Like I was just I was awkward trying to stories and everything. It was lovely to be around people, and just be social again.
Fantastic. And I don't know if anybody else is hearing this, John. You might have, I'm hearing a little bit of audio glitching on your end. Just
Okay.
if people are giving strange looks or stranger looks. Kinsey Johnson, come on down.
Hi, everyone. I am Kinsey Johnson. I am a board member of the NAC. And I am looking forward to, I'll do a very just out of college thing, but going back to the bars and dancing, I love it and I miss it a lot. So I will be in downtown Portland listening to Cardi B as soon as possible.
Fantastic. All right, we'll give Rachel a minute or two to connect and whatnot. Franziska.
Hi, my name is Franziska Rose. I'm the Public Involvement Coordinator with the City of Beaverton, and I'm the staff liaison to the super lovely NAC. And I am actually getting married next month. So I am looking forward to having a slightly normal-ish wedding-ish. But better than how it was looking a couple months ago.
There's no such thing. Fantastic. Lulú.
Hi, everybody. Lulú Ballesteros from THPRD, Communications, Cultural Inclusion. And I'm going to piggyback on all of you. My husband and I want to go to more concerts and activities, just seeing people for work, doing more outreach with the community, going to a wedding as well in 2 weeks. So many things to be excited about being with other people, hugging, all of that.
Great. Rachel, Phillip.
Hey everyone, I'm a board member of the NAC, live in Central Beaverton, obviously, I guess. I think we're doing things we're looking forward to as the pandemic winds down. I'm looking forward to being able to take my kid places safely and not worrying. I think that's still probably a little ways away as more people get vaccinated and little kids become eligible, but that is something I'm really looking forward to, and doing things like going to a grocery store is not fraught with anxiety or anything.
Great. Maria. Also, welcome back, Maria.
Hi everyone. I'm Maria, support specialist for the Community Services Program and Cultural Inclusion. I think what I'm looking forward to is just hanging out with friends that we haven't seen in such a long time. I really want to go to Mexico to go see grandparents. So excited to be able to plan stuff and not be worried about what's gonna happen. So yeah.
Great. All right, Officer Sutton, and then we'll do our 2 attendees after that.
All right, thank you, sir. Yeah, my name is Brad Sutton. I am a police officer with the Beaverton Police, and I am the Central Beaverton NAC officer. I am looking forward to going back to the movie theater. My kids love going to the movie this year.
Nice. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and allow our attendees to talk. You're all currently muted by default, so you may need to unmute yourself through your app, web app, or phone. So Francis Miller.
Hello.
Hello.
I was a recorder for the NAC 8 or 9 years ago.
Oh, no.
Just living at Beaverton Lodge, the independent living senior facility. And what I most look forward to is having our family and friends allowed to come into the building. Right now, we can visit with them outside near our gardens, but unless you're doing personal or medical care, an outsider is not allowed in the building.
All right. And
I'm going to have a couple of questions for the police officer when he comes.
Sure. Yeah, and that'll be the first thing on the agenda once we're almost about to roll into it. Yes, Cynthia Lee Rozank.
Yeah, you got that right.
Oh, amazing.
Okay, sorry. I'm so sorry.
Oh, did I accidentally mute? Cynthia, I may have accidentally muted you.
Okay, I unmuted it again.
Okay, sorry about that. You can click a button and you never know what's going on. Welcome. Are you a Central Beaverton resident?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic. Excellent. Anything you're looking forward to as vaccinations roll out and pandemic?
Just for it to not be on the top news item of the day.
Does get a little rating.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, welcome all. Again, I'm Tom Drane. I'm the current chair. I was the last vaccinated member of my household. So now that that has happened, my father can finally come out to meet his grandson, who we had way back in September. So that's happening this week, and I'm very excited about that. So hooray for modern technology. And we will go ahead and roll on to Officer Sutton.
No, I didn't.
With,
Hey, Tom,
yes.
we need to get Fayra.
Fayra, Fayra, I'm terribly sorry. I thought I'd run through all the panelists and.
It's okay.
Okay.
I'm just the family dog along for the ride. So favorite Teeters, I run Masque, Alfresco. We've been performing in front of the Beaverton Library on the lawn. This will be our 21st year. And I am so looking forward to getting back to providing theater. That's who I am. And so this whole last year has been painful for me and all my theater friends. You know, you're only as good as your last play. So yeah, and thanks for having me. Oh dear.
Thank you so much for reminding me about our when I was missing out. So okay, now Officer Sutton, and I believe we'll have some questions from the community once you're done with your presentation.
Right. So last month, I recalled there was a couple of questions that I jotted down, and I tried to get the best answers I could. One of them had to do with Pamplin Media, who does the Beaver and Valley Times, and why does the Beaver and Police not give our police log to them? I was not able to get a very good answer other than maybe Pamplin Media is not requesting it. But if anyone is interested in the Beaver and Police logs, I did find that they're posted online to the City of Beaverton's website on the police tab. In that police webpage part of the city's website, there is a link that'll bring up police activity or police logs. The only thing about it is they're about a month or two behind. I think the last log I saw was from the end of March. So they're not updated very frequently, but they are there if anyone's curious. And then the second question I got, this one was for Kevin. If you remember, you asked about traffic crashes.
Yeah,
this was,
I remember.
Yeah, this was really difficult. I could not find an interactive map that showed traffic crashes in the city of Beaverton. We do have Beaver and Police crime maps. And once again, those are about a month or two behind. Those might show traffic crashes, but I don't think it's going to show all of them. They're mostly going to be all sorts of different incidents, like a burglary or a robbery or a theft or something like that. But I did learn that ODOT, through the state of Oregon, has numerous different traffic maps that bring up data, but it's so overwhelming with information. I had a tough time sifting through it. So if you're interested, go to ODOT's website. I believe it's just odot.gov, or go to the oregon.gov and find the ODOT link. And there's a lot of different maps and different statistics about traffic crashes, but you're going to get the whole state. It's not going to be centralized to just Beaverton or Washington County.
Okay, thanks.
Hope that helps you.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
Okay. As previously mentioned, the next big event coming up is Pride. I have it listed as the 27th of this month. And I am planning on being there and working at the Pride event. So if you're there and you see me, please come say hi. I'd love to talk to you guys in person, not over Zoom. So that's obviously a few weeks away. But if you do go and you see me, I'd love to talk to you guys. And lastly, you guys might not get me anymore. I did mention a few times in these meetings that the Beaverton Police Department was adding an officer to the Washington County Mental Health Response Team, and I was selected. I put in for it and I was picked. So I am going to be working with Washington County Mental Health out of the Sheriff's Office. That's probably going to start next month. I don't know exactly when. So there's a very good chance you guys might get me for one more meeting here. And that might be it. I got to pass the baton to another officer. So we'll see. The exact date that I go over to the Sheriff's Office is unknown, but it is happening.
Well, we'll be sorry to lose you, but it's very exciting that for your opportunity. It's yeah, I think it's great.
Yeah. So I guess I'm ready to try to fill those questions. I'll do the best I can here.
Okay. So I know that in chat, Cynthia Rosank had said that you have a question and a concern for the officer. So you're free to. The floor is yours.
Oh, okay. Am I muted?
No, you are not. We can hear
Okay,
you loud and
cool.
clear.
Okay. My question is, I live along the fence where the community church is here off of Southwest Erickson, and I've had two really unpleasant incidents with their property. I've actually lived here 17 years, and I've had numerous times where my fence has been it's been tagged. And I just had a new fence installed, and it was just tagged within 3 months of this new fence being installed. And the second thing is, I just adopted a dog from Oregon Humane Society, and I was walking my dog on the leash along the fence there. And another person had their dog over there that was unleashed, and it charged us.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in order to keep my dog and this dog separated, I got tangled up and I actually fell. Now, I went over and I talked to the people at the church, and they said something about talking to board of directors about that. Is there something, I mean, I think last summer there were actually people living there. Is there something that can be done about that so somebody can take more responsibility for that property?
So without giving away your exact home address, I'm assuming this is the church. I think it's, oh gosh, it's right about 10th and Erickson, and a lot of that property is adjoining to Schiffler Park, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so yeah, part of that is fenced, part of it's not, and I think the fence is only a short cyclone fence. So is your property one of the wooden fences that backs up to that church property?
Correct.
Okay. And I'm assuming the graffiti is probably on the side where they're getting in through the church.
Correct.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry. Have you spoken with the pastor about any of their surveillance cameras, if they have any, that maybe picked up some activity at night?
Well, I tried to have that conversation with whoever was cleaning the fence today, but when I was there last week, I tried to talk I probably wasn't on my best game because I had just fallen.
Oh yeah.
And I just was telling him that I've actually seen this particular individual with this dog back there before, but I've never had it. I mean, it's a German Shepherd, and it's big, and it scared the pants off me.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
And I was talking to one of my neighbors, and he said, oh yeah, I've had a problem with that dog too. And I'm like, so this is a repeat offender and they're not doing anything about it. And I feel bad. I mean, I don't want to be a bad neighbor to the people in the church. And he said that they do it as a courtesy. And I'm like, well, you know what? People aren't being very courteous, and maybe it's time to do something about making that property not so available.
Yeah.
If you're not, can't be more responsible about it. I feel really bad, but I'm just really tired of living like this.
No, I agree. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. So the property we're talking about is not Schiffler Park. It's going to be the grassy area at the back of the church. Does that sound about right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I'm understanding that whoever has this German Shepherd likely got permission from the church to run their dog there. So that's where I would start, with letting that pastor or somebody, a member of that church, know that although they're being very gracious to whoever this person is, it's not working out due to the irresponsibleness of the dog off a leash. And that's where I would start if I was handling this call, and just concerns as much as it may seem harmless, it is causing maybe a problem for the neighbors and something to think about.
Okay, I'll just have to maybe make myself a pest over there. That's all.
Yeah.
Because I've kept my mouth shut for the last 17 years, but it's like, you know what? I'm really tired of living like this. I shouldn't have to feel scared to be in my house.
Well, I agree. Well, as much as, that church is there, it's also, one of your neighbors. I have talked to that pastor before, and I can't remember his name, but I remember him being a nice, reasonable person. And I think if you just maybe explain yourself, you probably could get very far with him.
I did. I stopped. The day that I fell over when trying to keep my dog away from this other dog, I stopped and I pointed this person out. I said, you can see her from here. I said, see, there she is. There's the dog. Mm-hmm. So he knows me, he knows where I live, and he knows the person I was referring to. So, and I actually have seen her back there since. So that's what bugs me, is it's like, it's okay, I've gone over there and I apologized to him. I said, I hate to even come over here and start anything, but I fell back there and I could have been hurt.
Yeah, that's a problem. You know, obviously I'm not a civil lawyer, but it could open up some doors of liability if you get hurt on somebody else's property. So that's something they should be concerned with, I would think.
Yeah, no, I didn't get the feeling that he says, oh, we're going to go talk to the board of directors. And I'm like, talking, I think we're done. We're past talking. So I just don't know where else I can go. I don't want to do thing like the lawyerly thing. Is there's like something else we can do that's more practical?
Well, if it came down to it, the city of Beaverton does do dispute resolution, but everything you've described seems like something we should be able to handle as adults. My first stop would be the pastor of that church and explain somebody obviously has permission to be on the property, but it's causing a problem for you as a neighbor, and to see if they can maybe work to agree, find agreement with both sides. The first thing I would think is find out who this person is. I think you said it was a woman, and see if she can just leash her dog if she's going to be on the property. That would be the first thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry I had to go through that though.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for bringing that to us, Cynthia. I live just up the street, so I'm always curious to hear what conflicts are in the area, just so that if there's a place, as the officer said, yes, City of Beaverton does have a dispute resolution framework in case things do progress, or just for other issues that anyone might have. It's a resource that can be explored. Let's see, Francis, John, I'll get to you in a second. Francis, did you say that you had something for the officer this week?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm the one who brought up the fact that Beaverton is not covered in the Times Thursday paper. It's supposed to cover Beaverton, Tiger, Tualatin, and Sherwood. And we still don't have anything on Beaverton since the last time I talked to you. Appreciated your checking on it. Let me read the little bit that it said in the paper. It said, police logs are a partial accounting of law enforcement calls based on activity reports and descriptions generated by participating police departments. The weekly availability of logs usually depends on what police departments are able to provide prior to this newspaper's print deadline. So I know all about the crime in Forest Grove and other places, but I don't know a thing about Beaverton's. So someone's not being responsive. I know you're trying. Ma'am, I wish I had a better answer other than I don't know why the police department isn't given pamphlet that information. It could just be that it takes time to compile those reports. There's a lot of personal information that needs to be redacted and then summarized and then kind of broken down even more to just a quick little 1 paragraph or 2 paragraphs about an incident. A lot going on in the city of Beaverton, especially these days. And I don't know what the format is to put something like that together to give to the paper to have published out there while still protecting some privacy. If they do that. The person that I would have asked was our public information officer, but the time that I was digging into this question and trying to get a good answer, he was actually off. He was on vacation. So I didn't actually get to speak to him directly. And that's something I can work on and try to get you a better answer next month. But for now, the only way to get a look at what's going on in Beaverton via police logs is going to be through the City of Beaverton's website. Like I said, unfortunately, it's backlogged by about a month, maybe 2 months, maybe a little more. Well, the reports the other cities are giving are just says your man was found in this area doing such and such, and he was arrested or let go or whatever. No names and no specific address.
Yeah, I've seen those reports before. They're usually very vague and watered down. They don't give you a lot of specific detail about what might have happened in some of these calls.
The other issue I have is I'm getting phone calls, people saying that the Marriott or the Hilton is giving me a free week. Is that some kind of scam?
It's hard to say. It might be. Everyone's getting a lot of these robocalls, as they call them. I personally wouldn't respond or to any of those calls. It's just, you just don't know. If you really, you really wanted to do business with a certain company, you as the consumer would look out, look into what you want to spend your money, where you want to spend your money. Somebody
I would
calling,
call them.
soliciting me it's no different than someone going door to door to try to sell you something. It's just a new way to do it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
John Duggar.
Hey, can you guys hear me now? I know it was echoey. No, Officer Sutton, I live at 8th and Main, and with the big crash here the other day, I almost brought you a bottle of water. I saw you working it pretty hard, so
Thank you.
Definitely that. But it brings up, it's another one of those things that's like, it made me think about all the times we've chatted about how crazy it gets on Main sometimes.
Yeah.
That was point one. The second one is kind of in reference to Kevin's question from the last time. I tried as a budget committee to get the same thing from the police. I think from police chief. I can't remember who was there actually presenting about accidents, particularly with pedestrian and bicyclists. And I ran into issues there too. So I think we both have to keep pushing Kevin for that, because I think it's really important, particularly in our neighborhood, as we increase our pedestrian and cycling traffic. But that's all. Anyway, Officer Sutton, congratulations too. Super proud that of all the people that you're going into that role, that's a really critical role, and you've definitely earned it. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, John. I appreciate it. And thanks for thinking of me the other day. I spoke with neighbors. And that was a big incident. So I'm sorry that happened right next to your house.
Yeah, it's funny. I was coming home from a bike and I saw it and I was like, oh man. And then I saw you, but you were busy. So next time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
All right. Anybody else have questions or comments for Officer Sutton this month? Okay, then I guess we'll let you get back to shift. Thanks for all these couple of years of joining us, and hopefully we will see you at least one more month. And if not, make sure everybody, as they're at Pride on the 27th, go by and find Officer Sutton and say hi.
Yeah, please do. I'm planning on being there. As of right now, it's scheduled unless something changes. And like I've said, every month at these events, if there's something you want to talk to me about and you just don't want to do it in this format, please email me, call me, whatever you want to do to get a hold of me, and I will do what I can for you.
Great.
All right.
As always.
All right. Take care, guys.
Okay. Off to Lulú for THPRD report.
Hi, everyone. As you may have heard, summer registration still going on. It started at the beginning of May. Still a lot of camps, activities, classes, many things opening up. Amongst those things, we have the Aquatic Center, Raleigh Swim Center, Somerset, and Conestoga. That's one of the biggest questions. And also swimming classes are back. For those that have little ones or older ones that just like to play with water, we have splash pads opening up at Cedar Hills, Timberland, and Reflections Plaza. Reflections Plaza, it's a new space. It would be wonderful if you go and check it out. Amongst the many classes that we still have the camps available in art, archery, tennis, swimming that I already mentioned, and much more. We are hiring for those summer positions. There are some part-time and full-time positions as well, but there's tons of summer hiring going on. Also, summer events, they will still look a little bit different. Many will not be as big as what we're used to seeing at THPRD, but what we will see is many, many, many more in different community parks. What we will have will be things from Frozen in the Heat, which is Frozen from Disney with activities for the kiddos. We will have superheroes take flight. Kiddos get to do a kite with different superheroes. We have Chalk the Block, Rock the Block for opening some of our new parks. We will have pop-up dog parks events. We will have some summer concerts, some outdoor movie nights and drive-through movies, much more. So the full schedule should be out either this week or next week. And we're very excited about all that. and how to find out what's happening next week, in 2 weeks, I would suggest to follow us on social media, to subscribe to the newsletter, available in English and in Spanish, and everything is also updated on our website. And that's it. I don't know if there's any questions, suggestions that I can take back, or maybe I have the answer at the moment.
Are there questions or comments for Lulú from THPRD?
I do.
Yes, Francis.
Is the Conestogo's, the outdoor young child water park area, going to be open?
That's a great question. Not yet, because they're going to do some adaptations to the pool itself and to the splash pad. So that's why it's not on the list of splash pads that opened. So stay tuned, but for the moment, they're going to fix it up a little bit.
And the other question I have is the THPRD bought the land next to Schiefler Park and tore down the house. And now there are two big piles of dirt and a lot of tall grass.
So this park at this moment is in an engagement and outreach stage. That means that they've been out to Vos Elementary, asking the community what they want to see in that park. There's an event coming up at Wonderland Park, also for talking to the community to see what they want to see in that park. So yes, at the moment, there's a lot of movement, a lot of piles that will be removed. A lot of things are moving around. If anybody is interested in providing input or wanting to find out more about this park that we're very excited about, you will find it on the website as well, or give us a call. We can also take input by the phone.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So just a clarification, Lulú, that is in regards to the piece of property that is adjacent to Schiefler Park?
Yes.
It's, oh, sorry. I was talking about the one, it's on Lombard and Baker Loop.
Oh, thank you, John.
The Schiefler Park space, I can look into that. I don't have an update for this month on that. Let me look that up and get back to you. Sorry.
Thanks for the clarification, Don.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I know. Well, we see it all the time, and it is. I'm always curious to know what it's and going to happen. I know when we have heard from THPR representatives in the past, they saw the opportunity to purchase and didn't have any immediate plans for it, is my recollection. And there was question as to whether it would be developed as part of the park or used in a land swap.
It's in wait mode.
Yeah, so I think, but Francis, were you concerned about the current maintenance of the grounds?
Yes.
Okay, as the landowners, do you know if THPRD has any plans on maintaining that lot?
No, took note, coming back
Okay,
with more details.
great. Thank you very much. Are there any other questions or comments for Lulú this week, month, day? Well, great. Well, thanks for joining us, and it's good to see so much going on at THPRD.
Thank you.
Oh, actually, I do have a real quick question now that I'm thinking about it. So you mentioned the pools that were open. Do you know if there is any schedule or time frame for the other facilities to be openings?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I just asked about that this morning because I was like, oh, Elsie's store, there's many questions. So they said, oh, at the moment, due to all the closures and that we're offering only a certain percentage of programs, and but normally that's revenue, which is part of our budget. Long story short, everything is on pause until the end of the year, but we'll be hearing a little bit more.
Got to have money to pay people to open facilities.
Yes.
Funny how that works.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, and we'll look forward to seeing you middle of next month.
Will do.
Take care. All right. So moving on to the Jonathan's not with us this month. He said that nothing happened at BCCI, so that's some easy time to make up. And now, Franziska, what's going on with the city?
Hey everyone. So a couple of updates. Big news. Welcome Jen Hayurama. The Beaverton City Council has appointed Jen Hayurama as the city manager. The appointment comes after a robust recruitment process with community and staff engagement. Hiring of a city manager supports the city's transition to a council manager form of government outlined in Beaverton's new city charter. She most recently served as the city manager of Tracy, California. Her local government leadership career began in 2000 as the Assistant Finance Director of the town of Los Gatos, California. She then transitioned to the city of Tracy, California as the Administrative Services Director and the interim Assistant City Manager. Subsequently, she served as the Assistant City Manager of Livermore, California, and then the City Manager of Scotts Valley, California. She is expected to begin in August of this year, 2021. Beaverton's new city charter went into effect at the beginning of 2021 and was approved by voters during the May 2020 election. And for more information on the new city charter, which isn't so new anymore, but in case you're curious about that city charter, you can go to beavertonoregon.gov/charter. And then summer reading is underway. Beaverton City Library invites kids, teens, and adults to read this summer, earn prizes, and give back to those in need. Complete 15 hours of reading, listening, audiobooks, or being read to, or doing a family activity. No registration is required. Print off a reading log from the website, pick up one from the library, or create your own to track your progress. Between July 5th and August 15th, kids and teens can visit beavertonlibrary.org/SRP done for completion instructions. And adults can read for a good cause by tracking hours read through August 15th to earn meals for recipients of Meals on Wheels People Delivery Service. For every 100 hours read collectively, the new Friends of the Beaverton City Library will donate one meal up to 135 total. And get ready for fun events planned all summer long. Visit beavertonoregon.gov/events and beavertonlibrary.org/events to learn about virtual and in-person upcoming happenings. And I'll put all those links in the chat. And then last but not least, Miles asked that I pass along some information regarding a parking survey, which some of you may have seen in the NAC Friday update. So there's a new downtown parking survey. It's at beavertonoregon.gov/parking, and it's a survey to tell us about the challenges and opportunities with parking in the downtown area. Share with us your opinion about using some of downtown's on-street parking for outdoor dining. For example, should the First Street Dining Commons be an ongoing activity? Side note, I'm a big fan, so take that survey, let us know how you feel about it. Your feedback improves our planning and helps us to better respond to the needs of our growing community. Responses to the survey will inform decisions being made in the downtown parking management and action plan and the open air Beaverton program. So does anyone have any questions on that? Anything that I've talked about? Yeah, Kevin, go for it.
So I just want to affirm the final comments about that survey. There's a lot of conversation happening about what the future of the public spaces in downtown will be like, and how people have been experiencing outdoor dining spaces, accessibility of businesses during this time. And I know city leaders, city staff are definitely looking for community input. So click that link when Franziska puts it in the chat and fill it out, share it with your neighbors. Because this stuff is really important. We look at it as an outside nonprofit, and economic development people look at it too, so it's super valuable.
Thank you, Kevin, for that endorsement. Definitely super important. John.
Hey, I filled out a survey, and I'm not really sure, just some general feedback.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder from a neighborhood perspective, the downtown parking question is really, like it hits home for a lot of us in this neighborhood, a lot. And I think some of the questions were a little bit, I didn't get quite the comprehensive list of options that I would have wanted to survey the community about. Mm-hmm. And so I don't quite know how to ask this, but like in certain surveys that the city creates or certain initiatives, I would almost want to be, or at least, things that are unique to Central Beaverton. I almost wonder if there's some way to connect with us before a survey is created and goes out, because like I would be really curious to get, for instance, I've talked to a lot of neighbors about like the farmers market lot, and the city has mentioned a couple times, hey, let's have people park there. But, if you park there in the evening, there's not great lighting. There's not a couple things. So like in my mind, one of the options should have been, how can we increase, if we're going to create, if we want that to be a realistic option, can we like invest a little bit of money and do some public art and some really great lighting, and so that way it becomes less of an issue for on-street parking, right? Like it becomes like an experience. That was like, I would have loved for them to include that. Like, would you actually park there if you could walk and maybe see some plaques on like the history of your, long story short, like how do we maybe, I don't know if you can give the feedback of like on some of these things, maybe at least engage with Kevin or one of us on this committee, before you create the survey, just to kind of get a better comprehensive picture. I don't know how to ask that question, so
No,
I don't
that's
think
really
that's great.
No, that's really great feedback. I will certainly take that back to the team, and it's an easy ask for me because I obviously am the liaison for all of you. So I would be more than happy to advocate for kind of having you be a focus group of sorts to make sure that the questions that are being asked for stuff specific to downtown is really reflective and captures what you would hope to see in terms of the feedback that people, that the city is hoping to get, right? Because you live, breathe, eat, sleep, Central Beaverton. We don't, we have our perspective of an experience of it, but it's obviously very different, for people who are living downtown. So as somebody who's involved in a lot of projects that are happening downtown, I definitely will, I will make sure that that's a step in the process to say, hey, before you finalize it, let's run it by everybody here.
So can I interject with two questions for you, John, real quick?
Yeah.
Just clarifying. So were you talking about just improvements to lighting and visibility in the lot itself, or kind of on the connection between that lot and where all the action is?
The connection.
Okay.
I mean, that's just one idea of many.
Sure.
Like there's tons of other, like I would rather have the neighborhood like give some ideas on parking, right? And like the other kind of feedback, Franziska and Thom, is from the budget committee the other day. We got the city's community development person basically told us that there's probably going to be a garage constructed on this side. And I was like, what? Like that's millions of dollars. And like, that's the first I'd heard about that. And I'm like, that's a really big project. And maybe it's been talked about at Bura. I don't know. I haven't been paying as much attention to that, but like, that's a really big conversation. And I think we would want to be part of that.
Sure, definitely.
Before, and so like this survey hit at the same time, like we got word of that, and I was like, well, are we having the survey to validate our already pre-existing decision, or what are we doing? It just felt really weird to me. That's all.
Sure, that's the first that I had heard that was even a topic of conversation. So but yeah, can definitely appreciate kind of.
Do we want to perhaps invite either the traffic? So this is all part of this comprehensive traffic plan. Do we want to invite one of the managers from that to come and present here and get a little engagement?
I would vote Cheryl Tweedy.
Okay, yeah.
If we can get Cheryl or someone from her office to come, like that would be, because she was like, they're the ones doing the long-term planning for this.
Right.
I would.
Some of the streetscaping and walkability is going to be is part of the scope of the loop, and that's definitely ongoing. Where I know the city is looking to improve that experience.
Sure.
But it does not capture. They are dealing with the consequences of the comprehensive parking plan. I don't believe they're informing it. But it's still in the same office, so I'm sure that there's some communication. But yeah, if we want to get specifically, some updates, or I'll reach out to them. Thank you for the suggestion. I know I've interacted with Cheryl previously, so I'm sure that she'd be open to engaging with us. But
I've got a few more comments, but I wanted to hear from Kevin first.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry for stepping on your.
A couple of things that I know that I can share with this group.
Thanks. I'll make it quick. John, those are good points about improving walkability from the existing parking that we do have. The BDA has been working with city staff on doing some temporary short-term or quick fixes, basically on the power poles that are there, like working with the local power company to get like gooseneck lights up higher up that can do some more lighting on a more immediate basis. or like accent lighting along the ground where it makes like the pathway look more inviting, or greenery or public art. So all of that's part of a conversation that's happening. I do agree it would be great to have Cheryl here to talk about all of it together, and then also like hear some of the comments and feedback that we've got too. I think that'd be really helpful.
Sure. Yeah, so a couple of things. I actually just heard about this, this project or this activity just this morning in a meeting with Dan Turk, who's overseeing the downtown loop. And something that's in the works is called Path to Parking. And it's looking at, as we're, like you said, John, as we're continuing to emphasize that lot as a place where people can park. And then, especially as we're looking to make potential parking changes, along the loop, as part of the design alternatives, right? Not sure what those are going to be, but parking is definitely going to be part of that, on-street parking, right? Because they're looking at how to utilize sidewalk space. They're looking at the implications, especially for employees that work downtown. And so how do you, make that kind of connection, right, to that parking lot and then to whatever business, you might be working at downtown, much more inviting, much better lighting. They're folks that are in charge of that definitely recognize those gaps and that deficit. So that was the first time that I'd heard about that. So I know that they are looking at that, which is really great, because there has to be some sort of compensatory kind of alternative, right? If you're going to start changing things in terms of on-street parking, whether it's for street dining commons, whatever the case, there's got to be a way, and if you're going to promote that, then it's got to be really credible and feasible. The other thing that I'll say is the person that's in charge of the downtown parking survey is Megan Bronston, who's obviously been to this meeting many, many times. And then Molly is the parking manager in community development. So she's the one working with, there's a consultant team for the overall parking strategy. And so they're deep in talks about that right now. So she might actually be the best person equipped to come and talk about parking in downtown, because she's the one heading up that whole strategy. And Tom's right, there is overlap in terms of the scope of the loop and then, the scope of the downtown parking strategy. The parking strategy is a much more holistic approach to parking in downtown. I haven't heard anything about there being a garage. There's been a lot of school of thought, well, like, how do we encourage walkability, and people and other modes of transportation. So that's news to me. But Molly definitely would have a lot more information about, what they're looking at, different features. They're looking at promoting. I know that they're looking at promoting the Patricia Reeser garage as, one way, right, to get people to park and then walk. But then, there's all the like crossings at Canyon and Farmington. How do we make those better? So there's a lot of moving parts and pieces to the whole picture. But in terms of, you all being a really good kind of sounding board to give us feedback for how surveys related to downtown can be more effective in their questions, I'm 1000% behind that. And I'm actually really excited that you offered that up, because I would love to have your input, all of your input, as we're creating things for the loop, for the downtown parking strategy, for a lot of these kinds of initiatives.
Great. Thank you very much, Franziska, for
Very welcome.
bringing the knowledge. Are there any other questions or comments about the city information? Okay. What I was going to ask, and this is basically as well, hopefully for John's benefit, Maria, would you mind if we swap your agenda spot with with Fayra's, so that you would go after the grant proposal? That's good. Okay, thank you. Well, in that case, I will turn the meeting over to Fayra and the Masque Alfresco matching grant application.
Well, this will be our 21st year performing on the Beaverton Library lawn. And I spoke with Joseph Judy 10 days ago. He's the permit guy. And he said it's forthcoming, but I, of course, don't have it yet. We did get an NAC grant approval last year, but that went the way of COVID. So I fully mean to do a 70-minute show that is a compilation of both of Lewis Carroll's children's books, or famous fairy tale, Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. We're doing a mashup. And 10 scenes, music. I've hired a professional musician who happens to be a Beavertonian. Yeah, he lives off Murray Boulevard. He's a professional composer and professional musician. He's going to be running the music. There'll be about 8 musical interludes. So, and it's of course family friendly. Those of you who said you want someplace to bring your kids, this is it. 2019, when we did Importance of Being Earnest, I had pared that down and made it family friendly as well. And Miles brought his little girl. I think she was 5 years old at the time. And he said she was running around the house quoting. So she had been so engaged in what happened that a lot of the phrases stuck with her, which that's what I'm about. I mean, I'm about passing on the wonder and joy and magic of theater to the next generation. So let's see. I pay my actors. That makes us professional. We're all professionally trained. This year we'll have actors, singers, and a couple of dancers. Oh, I went online and joined, signed up for the hits, the updates from Oregon Health. And was thrilled to find out that Washington County, yay, Washington County, is now on the low risk level. Therefore, very few restrictions for public outdoor performances will apply unless something drastic happens and Washington County gets bumped back into a higher risk situation. The area in front of Beaverton Library on the lawn can hold about 150 people, but that's packed tooth to jowl. I intend to cordon the space off by putting up stakes and rope, making squares, somewhat like a chessboard. People would sit in groups in the middle of each square. So I intend to follow safe precautions. Whatever the current COVID restrictions are in August when we intend to perform there. So that's why I subscribe to the Oregon Health, so I could stay on top of what their restrictions are. Other than that, any questions? Oh, Kevin was you were at almost at every show we did in 2019. Love to have you back again with a table.
Yeah, thanks.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. And I think like it's going to be especially important these days.
Yeah.
With people want to do more stuff outside. But John asked the question, how much is the application for? How much funding are you?
Oh, 2,000. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
And it's largely it will go to paying the actors and my music director. I'm very, very frugal, miserly with spending money on stuff. Sure. We've had 21 years of doing this, so I've kept all the props and set pieces and la 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 la. There's very few that we have to buy fresh.
Just a couple of questions and/or statements from my end for part of the bureaucracy of this. First off, just a comment. I will say that cordoning off your audience into a chessboard-like arrangement, very thematic for Through the Looking Glass.
Course.
So,
yes.
So kudos to that.
Oh, and also rather than pass the hat, we're going to put hats in the middle of each square. So again, safety precautions, but also keep the audience involved. You know,
Are you getting other support from the community through in-kind donations or sponsorships?
Yes,
Okay.
I have a grant application into Beaverton Arts Program. I'm supposed to hear sometime this month. I've already had a Washington County grant awarded to me for last year, and then they allowed me to keep it. Bless their hearts. Yes.
And are there volunteer opportunities
Oh, yeah.
during the event where members of the community could be making up there's a certain accounting that we look for in terms of how to be reimbursed by the city. And one of the things that they look for is volunteer opportunities and to be able to get volunteer hours. So do you provide all of your own, do you look for volunteers from the community, for example, or are you just using your own volunteerism?
All of the above, actually. This year we have 6 company members who live in Beaverton and who orient towards Central Beaverton District. Our stage manager, Isabella Steele, lives 3 blocks from the library. So, and yeah, that's a good point. I could have a sign-up sheet for volunteers to help me set up, cordon off, help me with the setup and the so-called policing of the area, keeping people in their squares and safe distance. Should all that be necessary, Governor Brown has announced that once Oregon reaches 70% people with shots, game's over. I mean, everything will open up. So and we're at 62.9% right now. So, that's not that far away. I think I read 106,000 is needed, more shots. And then the state opens up totally. But thank you, that is a good point. I could, in my press, make announcements that we welcome volunteers and any support that they can give prior to each show. Yeah.
And then along with that, there's always the request. Are you publishing a playbill, or do you have?
Oh yes. Absolutely. And for Ernest in 2019, we had your logo, and we definitely.
Right. And I saw that on the web page for that as well. So I know that you've done this, but just this is me trying to do the due diligence on our side to make sure.
I'm sorry, I didn't mention that during my spiel.
Oh, that's quite all right.
No, I always thank the money, and your support. I'm always willing to. And also we have banners, and there's a poster board, and I definitely will. Oh, and I included your flyers and postcards in every single program that I passed out in the summer of 2019. So you give me the collateral, and I will definitely make good use of it. Kevin, same is true for you and the Downtown Association.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Very good. Are there other questions or comments from the other board members? Yes, John.
As I say, Fayra, can you document volunteer hours just for us? Because that's how we get reimbursed.
Sure.
I'm assuming.
When I turn in my request for reimbursement, I will also include the documentation of volunteer hours. Now, if you get into me, because I'm not paid in my position, and I pay all my actors and crew first before I will pay myself stipend. So the primary the primary documentation will be all my hours, which of course, of course I've been tracking. And
I think we'd need around a little over 80 hours And as long as it's you or a team of volunteers or whatever, as long as that happens and document it, then I think we're good. You've probably put in a lot more than 80 yourself already, so I'm not concerned about it. I'll make sure we calculate that. That's all.
Actually, that's right there on the grant application.
Okay.
I list myself as in-kind contributor, and yes, there's 80 hours worth of me in that.
Oh, I'm sure.
I bet, yes. And John, thank you very much for supporting with
John.
the equivalence numbers for the dollar amounts. Well, fantastic. John, did you have anything else for Fayra?
No, I'm just going to say I think this is fantastic. I've always thought this is fantastic, and the world needs more art. So you'll never get paid enough to do all this, Fayra, but we're as a community, we're exceptionally grateful for all of our artists.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
But see, our recompense is the audience appreciation and their feedback. And another thing I provide, we do a survey, a half page, and I compile that and I give that to you. I will, and had in the past. So it's demographics, it's what would you like to see different? It's all of that. How did you find us? Those things, which I think might help you when you're doing your own events that aren't Masque Alfresco.
Fayra, did you say what the date is?
Oh yeah, there's 6 of them.
Okay.
So August 13th, 14th, and 15th, August 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
Cool. All in August. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would make a motion that we approve the request of $2,000.
Second.
Okay, there is currently a motion on the floor for a neighborhood matching grant to Fayra Teeters of Masque Alfresco for $2,000 for for performances in August 2020. Seconded. All those in favor say aye, or otherwise indicate aye. Unanimous for the quorum. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, still remaining, and I think we can still get John out on time. So didn't expect
Sorry,
Kinsey to
John.
dip. So I'm glad that we accelerated that. Thank you very much, Maria. Fantastic. Well, Fayra will be will just continue to be in contact with us, and we'll look forward to coordinating with you further for anything you need.
Thank you.
The closer you get.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Excellent. So, John, thanks for sticking around. I know that you will probably need to dip soon, and because you are maybe a little bit busy.
So should I?
Thank you.
Should I bow
See you next
out?
month. That is up to you. You're welcome to remain. But all we're going to do is we're going to get an update from Maria about the Beaverton Night Market, which is very interesting in and of itself. So you may want to stick around. Exactly. And with that, we'll turn it over to Maria. Oh yeah. So Amanda, of course, motion passes. And I was just saying motion passes for the, yes. So Maria, you're going to tell us about the upcoming night market, also in August, I think.
It is so many stuff happening this summer. So I couldn't say that earlier that was something that I was looking forward to because it would give it away. So so everybody, my name is Maria. For those who do not know, I know you are all expecting my awesome boss, Alexis, but she's actually in another meeting talking about the same topic. So here I am. The night market is gonna come back in person this year. So we're just really excited to share that. There is gonna be a lot of changes due to, logistical placement and everything, and because of COVID. So I'm just gonna talk a little bit about that. So for those that do not know, the night market is hosted by the Diversity Advisory Board, and this event was created to create a vibrant, intercultural, family-friendly space that is reminiscent of night markets that are held internationally. So we're just really excited to be able to have it in person and not virtually this year, and to be able to eat all this delicious food and crafts from different vendors. So Some of the changes is that this year we're not having one in July and one in August like we usually do. This year it's going to be back to back. So it's going to be August 13th and 14th, which is going to overlap with the Chalk Art Festival. So we've been working with them. So we're excited that there's going to be actually 2 artists during the night market that will be doing their art while the night market is going on. So we're just really excited about that collaboration. Another big change this year, it's that it's moving from the round near City Hall to First and Tucker. I can share the map, but I actually suck at sharing my screen, but I can extend it to Franziska so she can share it with all of you. But it's gonna be pretty much like in downtown. Easiest way is First and Tucker, but between crossed off by Betts and then Farmington and then I think it's Hall, right? But yeah, there's going to be parking at the Beaverton High School and then the library lots. And then there's going to be shuttles like we usually do to be able to take people to the night market. Another change this year, it's that we're expecting to have about 300 to 400 people at a time inside the event. So there's gonna be like a system that could change. We'll see how things are in August, but it's gonna be like a reservation ticket. It's still gonna be free, but we're gonna have like a Eventbrite kind of ticketing thing going on. But there's also gonna be some spots reserved for people that just walk up to the event. So we know that, we're trying to make this as low barrier, and we don't want people to get confused that it's not going to be a free event like it usually is every year. Another change is that we're going to only have 30 vendors this year, and there's not going to be a main stage, but we're still going to have performances. There's not going to be a headliner. There's just going to be smaller performances around the night market. And it's also going to be closed off. Once again, things can change, but we're going to have like parameters around the night market just to be able to monitor the entry, the entrance, and also the exit for folks to be coming in and out. So there's a lot of changes, but we're just really excited to bring it back and bring it to downtown. Something different. It just adds a lot more excitement, and we have been in touch with the BDA. I know that Alexis has been reaching out to a lot of the nearby businesses and been in touch with them. Some of them are even letting us use their spots, parking, so we're just really excited for that. And we're going to be sending out also a postcard once the event gets closer to just let nearby neighbors know, there's going to be noise around, there's going to be traffic, so just to be aware about that and letting them know. And yeah, we were just here to tell you guys, because it's going to be in your NAC. You guys have always been great partners with these type of events and just always supporting our program. So we're just trying to see if you guys have any feedback, any concerns that we should be thinking about. It's going to be in a new spot, so we know that brings a lot of concerns. So we're just really excited though about this, just because the round it's a great spot, but there's a lot of things going on there, a lot of construction. We don't have to worry about the Max going through the night market this year and yeah, being dangerous. So we're just excited, and we're trying to see if you guys have any feedback, any concerns.
Fayra.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't want to overlap. What date is the night market?
It's the 13th and the 14th.
Okay, so I put in to be in front of the Beaverton Library on the lawn those 2 days.
Oh, is it gonna?
Yeah.
Well, we're not gonna be at the. We're not gonna be right on.
You said the library for parking.
Yeah, for parking. So.
Okay. As long as they don't mind that I'm there as well.
Yeah, and I can write that down. And then I'll have somebody reach out to you to be able to kind of coordinate. Depending on the times, the night market runs from 4. I don't know when times your event is, but it's from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Oh, yeah. I'm from 7 to 8 p.m.
Okay. Yeah. So I can write your name down, and then if Franziska, you can just share her contact info so Alexis can give her a call.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not going to be able to have the same number of vendors. About how many, what proportion?
Yeah, they're actually, that's in the meeting that Alexis is in right now. So, so they're talking about that. All I know is that there's gonna be 30. I'm not really sure about like what's gonna be more like crafts and what's gonna be more food, but usually it's always more food than crafts. And with that being said, there's actually gonna be 2 food courts, just because of COVID. We know people are gonna have like an area to be able to go and eat their food.
Gotcha. Were there any other questions or input from the remaining board members or attendees?
Yeah, Tom, just for anybody who's watching either now or later, reading the minutes, this is going to be an awesome collaboration. And the Chalk Art Festival, like for those of you who are not familiar, it's not just like sidewalk chalk on the ground. It's like professionally done from nationally recognized artists, like 3D murals that you can stand on and feel like you're like falling into a ginormous cave. They are amazing and beautiful, and that's going to overlap really well with the night market, and then like the shared promotion opportunity with Masque Alfresco too. Like that'll be a really lively evening, or a couple evenings.
It is.
I think it'll be really fun.
Yeah, if they've got 3 events kind of stacking up at the same time, I think that may be a tremendous, especially if the Chalk Art Festival could have a significant, potential audience overlap with the Masque Alfresco, I would think. Speaking of, I have not, usually I hear from Rosier about a grant, and I don't know, I haven't heard anything from her so far this year. I thought I'd heard from her, and then I realized that was for last year. So I didn't know if anybody's in communication with her to see how their event planning is going.
I'm in touch with her. It's going well. I'll make sure to come to us.
I mean, I know that typically funding is always is usually shorter than budgets a lot of times in the arts, and it would be great if they were so well supported that they said, you know what, we don't need to go to the Beaverton Central. I mean, I would feel a little bit like left out, but
I know that she would intend to come here, so I'll just send her a text.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just I want to make sure that we have agenda time for her in like July, more than anything. That's all. Was there anything, any other things for Maria about the night market? Okay, well, thank you for bringing it to us. And if you have any other needs or requests, always feel free to come by and let us know how we can help out.
Thank you. And just like if you want to keep updated, like who's going to be there, like vendors and performers, the website is always the best way to kind of check in on that. We're trying to keep it updated as much as possible. So I know with COVID, we just don't know what changes we're expecting. So that'll be the best way to check. So thank you all. It was great seeing you.
Yeah, good to see you as always, Maria.
Bye.
I am realizing I skipped over officers' reports since Jonathan was gone, and so we missed accepting the minutes for May while we had a quorum, so we will table that until next month. And I've got a treasury report from Quinn, but unless you want it for this, Amanda, would you like a treasury report for this month's minutes?
Sure, since we have one. I can also put in that Quinn wasn't in attendance, so no report has been presented, as long as there wasn't any major changes that we need to be aware of.
There was a payout and just awaiting reimbursement. That's
that should probably go in the minutes then for this month.
The starting balance for the month, I do have it. I was just starting balance for the month was $6,326.04. Let me go ahead and see if I can put that in chat as well, so you can
Oh, that's all right. I got it.
Okay. Ending balance was $3,304.99. There was 20 cents of interest made. The expenses were $3,021.25. $3,000 went to Pride Beaverton for their matching grant. That is to be reimbursed. $21.25 went to new check fee. So checks had to be purchased. Did you get all that, or
Thank
would
you.
you like it in text form?
Nope, I got it all.
Okay.
Thanks.
Great, thank you very much, Amanda. Okay, so that's officers' reports. We will turn things over to subcommittees. I will go ahead and say that since two of my members are busy with their own event, we have not events has not met this past month. But if there's anything from arts or sustainability, go for it. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I can give a quick sustainability subcommittee update. We did not meet formally, just ended up being a busy month, but we did finish the grant application, writing up a grant application for the Evelyn Schiffler tree project for planting 12 trees in that park. Do we have enough people to vote on it?
Not right now. We missed our quorum once Kinsey and John.
All right.
Either one of them had stuck around. When does it? I mean, the proposed event isn't until this fall, winter.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah,
So
it's
we've
planned.
got
It's planned for winter
22,
22.
right?
Yeah, probably
so
early
January,
2022.
probably. Yeah.
We had wanted to get it just to get it in front of people, but I could. The main update is that it looks like it'll be about 1,600, and we have about. Let me find it. With volunteer actual and planned event volunteer hours, we should be totally fine. The expected total volunteer hours for that project will come up to be 143 hours for the between planning and planting. So
yeah, we'll definitely make it on volunteer hours, much less if we get any sort of business donations. So
yeah, and we also have in-kind donations from Highland as well as THPRD. So
I'm not worried. I'm not worried about that event.
But yeah, we can talk about it next month when we do have a quorum.
Exactly. Great. Was there anything happening in arts?
No, but I think that we should definitely have a meeting with all of the things starting to pick up in downtown Beaverton. There's a lot of things that maybe we can look at some with all the arts events going on, how we can help support them and maybe have a presence for the NAC there.
Great. Yeah, I mean, it would be there are events, and it's something that I've been meaning to do in terms of just outreach. Is maybe to table at the farmers market one weekend or a couple of weekends. I know, Kevin, you've done it with BDA before, yes?
Say that again.
Have a table at the farmers market.
Yep, they got a community booth.
Did you get? I'm just curious. Did you get good engagement from that? Was it worth tabling?
Yes, I would say. I mean, we did.
Okay.
I think our program could have been designed a lot better, but that is not the fault of the booth.
Sure.
There was a lot of passerby traffic, and there were a lot of people who actually stopped to chat with us.
Yeah.
Well worth it. Yeah.
Okay. Good. I mean, that's more when we're looking now to get back into developing a relationship with the community, and a lot of the neighborhood just goes there already. So it's kind of a captive audience, and was something I was thinking about last year, but last year was last year. Great. Well, I will maybe start approaching Ginger about seeing what weeks work best for her, and then we can work on maybe with your experience, if you've got some suggestions from your time on that.
Yeah.
So how we can make it effective for the NAC.
Yeah.
And I know once Pride is over, so actually probably about August, John and Quinn will have some more time from the event side. Great. Well, oh yeah, Rachel, you had another. we've got hands all over the place.
Yeah, Kevin, I just wanted to ask, like, was there something about tabling that you felt did or did not work particularly well?
One of the things that I would do differently is the sort of engagement that we had planned was like a scavenger hunt through downtown, and people at the farmers market don't have a ton of time to go exploring downtown. So just the pairing was not great. Some people did it. Some the people who did it loved it, but we could have done something better. I think had we like had some sort of like incentive or worked with the farmers market to get like farmers market discount tokens that then people could spend while they're there, that would be like great. Now go support one of the neighbors, and thanks for talking with us. Come to one of our meetings. Let's get involved in the arts committee. Things like that. That would have.
Were you so you had something that was kind of planned as a they start at your table and they go and then they also end at your table. It was something that was going to be happening during the farmers market.
Yeah.
So I know in the past you did like the downtown passport. Would that have been is that maybe a better like an asynchronous kind of outreach type of thing, like handing out for example, like handing out passports at the table? Would have
yeah, that would be that sort of program. I think would do great because it's saying you don't have to do this at this moment when you're lugging your kids around on your bike. You can come in the middle of the week when you're really annoyed by your kids and you need to get out of the house, or you can come on the weekend when you got some spare time. Something like that is great.
Great, because I never had that kind of information, that idea to have engagement where there's then a return or more than just, here's a pamphlet, this is who we are kind of thing. But if there's some activity to then bring people back, then that's great. And yeah, I know you had done the passport program before, and also, are you going to do that again? Do you know if you guys are going to do it again?
Yeah, we are planning one that'll hopefully launch at the end of November. We're hoping for it to be virtual, so we're trying to figure out what sort of program or app people can download to make it easier. But we're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, well, luckily you have a little bit of time.
Yeah, but I do think like if the NAC had a booth at the farmers market, and if we had something that we gave people or told people, and we said like, all right, August 13th, come back to the night market in La Strada and Masque Alfresco, and you'll see our booth again. Talk with us again then, and like make sure like we're keeping on engaging with people along the way, because I think the more they see us, the more they'll be like, all right, these people are actually involved, they're connected, and there's some fun stuff going on because of their volunteering.
Well, that's a good point. I hadn't even considered having an outreach table at the night market, and that might be a good it may be a good opportunity to introduce ourselves to some of the populations that we don't usually see represented at our meetings.
Yeah, it's a good ask.
Well, I'll email Maria then tonight to see what the possibility of getting some frontage there.
Yeah.
Cool. Franziska.
I just had a quick question. I
Okay.
didn't realize that the booth, the like community booth at the farmers market was back going. I
don't know that it is. I just was like, I mean, I see Ginger every weekend. I mean, I'm going to talk to her tomorrow because she's going to be at the Loop meeting. So, and I just always have ideas. I just never follow up with her about it. Instead, I end up talking about like produce.
Yeah. Well, naturally.
Yeah, or cert stuff. So it's so I get distracted and being able to go with a couple of questions. So I don't know if they've got a community booth. They seem to be back up to capacity.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, because I feel like obviously that wasn't a thing last year, having people like stop and talk to other people. But if that is back and up and running, I definitely want to know about that from an engagement standpoint for different things. So on the city side, because it's all, it's always better like chatting with people in person.
Yeah. So yeah, I hadn't even really considered the fact that they may not have that that, or they may be discouraging that type of a community booth. That being said, I'm hoping that, you know, as the summer progresses and restrictions are declined, that the greater return to normalcy is there, and anticipating that rather than you know, waiting to find out. Then that just kind of puts us ahead of the game. Because I think it would be good to have, you know, before, honestly, the tree planting is probably going to be our first big like in-person type volunteer thing, and to get out to the community and maybe get some new, you know, use that as an outreach goal. It might be, it'd be nice to get out to the community before
Sure.
that event.
Sure.
I understand
Definitely.
that's a good community building event too, and they may be to different populations. But let me ask Maria about that. Great.
Well, and we're actually closer than was stated earlier. We're like 66.8%.
Wow.
Maybe another week based on like current rates of vaccinations.
Way to go,
So
Washington.
anyway.
That's all I'm saying. Way to go, Washington County. Is people that trust public health science. Hooray. So for the 5 of us that are remaining, are there any other comments or anything? The only thing that I had was the principal from Beaverton High School asked me to pass along that they're doing their graduation event this coming Saturday, and so Erickson will be closed, I believe, between 5th and Farmington. They're going to be doing a parade along 5th. I can't remember exactly where it runs down, but it's going to be going up. Basically, around the high school on Saturday is going to be very busy. So plan accordingly.
I actually do have a different question. So when I cross from to Evelyn Schiffler Park from crossing 10th across Erickson, it always feels like I'm like taking my life into my own hands. And like, especially because like I'm often pushing like a tricycle or a stroller. Like I'm like, all right, is my child about to get run over? Where do you start to like try to get like a like flashing light pedestrian right there? Like where would you even start that kind of
Kevin
process?
Teeter, come on down.
Oh my gosh. Rachel, I agree. I bike through there pretty often to get to my gym, and it's alarming, sometimes startling in ways you don't want a road to be startling. John has a lot of good insight on traffic calming also. You know, my first thought would just be to reach out to the traffic engineer. His name is Jabra. And just let him know this is what you're seeing. There might be some solutions that he's open to right away, or maybe he hasn't heard this feedback before. Yeah, Franziska
Thank
just
you.
email in the chat. Just
Yeah.
I would email him first and just be like, hey, what's our course of action here? What are the opportunities available to us? Are there any short-term things we can do? Like, can it have, I don't think, does it have a crosswalk? I don't remember.
It does have a crosswalk.
does.
Yeah, it does. At 10th, it does have a crosswalk. There is there's already the road constriction there, where traffic the curb bumps out past the parking lane. So one of two things that I just wanted to add, and please, if you've got other feedback, I don't want to step on your.
No, I'd say let's start with Jabra.
So there's two things that might inform this. One, I know that Traffic Commission and BCCI have been having this conversation that apparently BCCI is enjoying and the Traffic Commission is not, from my understanding. Franziska, you might know a little. I haven't actually read the minutes or watched them. That was just the impression that I got in that previous, because we've heard from Kevin, from John previously about how the Traffic Commission surveys the community and how it is very difficult to get the amount of public feedback that they want, affirmative public feedback that they want under their current rule set. And I think the discussion now is that they want to change the rule set about how that works, or that's one of the things. I know that there have been several members of this NAC that have gone to the traffic commission and basically hit a dead end. And it has not been a fun experience to the point where John has dropped going to the traffic commission at any point now, and just thrown his hands up. So one mechanism of engagement or with traffic commission and affecting change may be changing at some point in the future. It may not. The second is that as pedestrian concern, your pedestrian concern is not the only concern about that corner that people have brought to our meetings. And if you have ever driven that route, 10th onto Erickson, you know that that is a corner that can be difficult to see in a motor vehicle without pulling halfway through. So
that's why it's difficult as a pedestrian also.
Yeah. So and I really don't know if it's just the slope or something there from the car side. So
and the parked cars,
and it seems to be mainly the sight lines that make things difficult, and that's mainly crossing from east to west. Is that correct? Do you have problems crossing from the park?
And crossing from the park is fine. It's only crossing to the park that I feel like might push my child into a moving car.
Right. Okay. So this is good because this means that there are multiple modes of road users that are having difficulty with the safety of that, and it seems to be that the sight lines are not adequate for people to feel like they can safely proceed. So knowing that we've gotten that feedback in the past, that we've got the support from people. I know that a number of the members of the Beaverton Lodge residents, Francis Miller and company, have specifically mentioned that corner. Other guests have mentioned that corner as motorists mainly. But when you've got motorists and pedestrians saying that this is an unsafe crossing, then I think you've got a little bit more meat and can get a little bit more traction with the traffic engineer, because they unfortunately do tend to prioritize motor vehicle safety over pedestrian safety. I don't know, but anyway. So if you were gonna reach out on your own, that may be something. I mean, and I don't think that any of us have the problem of you could reach out as a member, you could contact as a member of the NAC board and say, hey, these are some things that we've heard at our meetings. This is something I've experienced personally, and use that as well.
Perfect.
So I don't, Kevin, Amanda, Franziska, do you see any conflict or difficulty with that?
No, I think that's a great idea, and just say the NAC board generally feels the same way. Like I go through it on my bike, so we've got cars, bikes, strollers. All of these things are struggling.
Yeah, and I mean, part of it maybe we just need as a group to. So there's these two throughways, Main and Erickson, that connect Fifth and Allen, and they're not Watson. And people want to avoid Watson and Hall, and so they'll be able to get easier to the light at Erickson. They'll be easier to get to Beaverton High School. I think that's one of the main drivers of traffic along Main for some reason, is the kids going to be VHS. But we see it too on Erickson, so it's not. I mean, I yell at my window for people to slow down for the goddamn time. I'm sorry, I swore on the recording. But
I've heard worse. It's okay.
Yes, speeding on my street really has always kind of twisted me up before, and it's not getting any better. So anyway, so yeah, you'll get support from us and the other people who are immediate to the area about that, because it's it seems like it should be a no-brainer that there could be some especially at the park. The park is right there. It's a major draw for families, for pedestrians, for cyclists. It's a great asset, and its access needs to be protected. So, yeah. So whatever you need in support from us, if you want to have a letter drafted, or if you want to draft one yourself and then bring it back to us and say, hey, I'm going to pass this on. Yeah, I think you'll have the support of the NAC, and because the more that we can poke them about both of these thoroughfares, the more likely it is that something maybe can be done at least on one of them. There can be some kind of incremental change.
Cool. Yeah, I can draft something and bring it back for next meeting.
Sure.
What I'll also say is that this topic is definitely has reached the city council level.
Okay.
Where they were talking about traffic calming and the program, and so yeah. So I mean, there's Jabra, there's the traffic commission, and then there's also elected leadership. So definitely there are some avenues. The conversation is pretty ripe at the moment, as Thom pointed out. You know, it was talked about at the last traffic commission meeting. I haven't watched that meeting yet either. I haven't even heard how it went. We have our staff meeting tomorrow with Miles, so we'll definitely find out from him. But there's certainly a lot of momentum for there to be something, you know, that changes. Because yeah, what Thom was talking about right now, Rachel, is basically, so they, you know, for a traffic calming measure, there's a certain radius, it's like 150 or 200 feet radius, and then they send out survey cards to everybody in that radius. And for folks that don't turn in their cards, that actually counts as a no vote. And people don't they don't realize that when they get the envelope, and you know, a lot of people just like toss it in the recycling, and then you know, it's basically impossible to get 67% of the people to actually respond, and not just respond, but actually say yes.
Right.
It's a really high bar. So that, you know, that's really the issue at hand right now. But certainly, you know, like as Thom said, there's a lot of local neighborhood support, not just from Central Beaverton, but Highland NAC has been really involved as well. So yeah, so if you have other connections, certainly use them. So that's what I'm saying. So anyway.
Anybody that you see walking in the neighborhood, you can pretty much say, hey.
I'll add, it's good to email our elected officials. They actually do read the emails. Councillor Sansusi is like mostly the transportation focused dude. And then Mayor Beatty, actually, like, she lives right off of Menlo. So this is her street area too.
Well, she used to.
Yes, she just moved to the Sexton NAC area, but she lived in Central Beaverton for the longest time. So.
Well, she abandoned us.
Okay. Pretty quick after the election too. It's not suspicious, or I'm not saying anything.
Yeah. Well, all that to say,
she even came to our NAF meeting as when she was a counselor, just as a resident, because of the graffiti at the skate park. But
yeah. Well,
we haven't seen her in a while. Anyway.
Cool. Thank you. I really appreciate everyone's feedback.
And Rachel, as always, if there's anything that I can do to, you know, connect you to different folks in the city, or, you know, just help be a resource, just let me know.
Perfect.
I also support the people who facilitate the traffic calming meetings, right? Like there's two current proposed traffic calming projects that are happening in the Neighbor Southwest neighborhood right now. And so neighbors are really actively involved in that, and, you know, trying to grassroots organize to really make sure that those happen. But yeah, so I could also connect you, you know, to Eric, who, you know, was the spearheader of that and that project. So anyway, lots of support, lots of resources. Just let us know how we can help kind of, you know, push this forward, because we at the city certainly, you know, hear the concerns.
Perfect. Thank you. I will definitely keep that in mind.
Cool. All right. I guess that's it. Thanks, everybody. We're adjourned. Unless anybody has something else to say. So, didn't seem like it.
Oh, good.
Awesome. We are delayed because of 4th of July next month, so it'll be second week of July as usual.
Thanks.